Hey guys, welcome to the arcade. Thanks very much for joining me today. So, recently from Arcade 1 Up, again, we've seen a lot of rehashes. There's nothing really big and exciting coming bar the announcement that we've had for the leak, I guess you could call it, with Fast and the Furious. And then we know that a Time Crisis machine is coming, but they're very specific. That's a racing cabinet and a shooting cabinet. Let's go back and take a look at our bread and butter, the big stand-up arcade cabinets. What would we like to see from Arcade 1-Up in the future? The deluxe cabinets are all going to be, Mortal Kombat, Miss Pac-Man if it still exists, Class of 1981, and the original Pac-Man cabinet itself. So these are all cabinets that we've seen before. We've seen them in multiple iterations. They come out once a year at least. We'll probably see a Capcom one coming at some stage as well as the year goes on. But do we want to see something new, something that we haven't seen from any of the companies as yet? We did talk about a track and field that was meant to be coming out, but that project seems to be abandoned. So what I'd like to go through is 3 cabinets that I would love to see Arcade 1-Up come out with. Starting at my number 3 pick now, this is again going to be, well, it's not really a long shot. It could be done, but I don't know what other games you would be able to put on there. What I'm talking about is a 4-player machine, and it would be Sunset Riders, a Konami side-scrolling shoot-'em-up game. It's a fantastic game. If you've never played it, pick it up. That was my childhood. I just loved those side-scrolling machines, and most of the great ones came from Konami. Now, Sunset Riders, most of the other Konami titles or machines out there come with a big license attached to them. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Simpsons. Sunset Riders doesn't have that problem. They do have a relationship with Konami. They should be able to get that relatively easy. Now, what else would you put on there? You could certainly put on the Cowboys of Moo Moo Mesa. That's kind of in a similar vein. It's a similar sort of game, and I do know that people really, really like that game. For me, it has to be Sunset Riders. I just think it's a fantastic game, and I would love to see it. Though being able to get multiple games onto it may be an issue. Another cabinet that I think would be it should be easy enough for them to do. It's a Capcom title. It's Ghouls 'n Ghosts. This is a fantastic game, and I've harped on about it for ages. I play it quite often, to be fair. I've done streams on it. I pick it up every now and then just to frustrate myself and have a decent challenge. It's a sequel to a game that they had out on one of their previous cabinets. They did have Ghosts 'n Goblins. It was one of the older Capcom legacy machines. Don't think it was on Big Blue. I think it was the one before that. Ghouls 'n Ghosts is just an updated version of it. Better graphics, better gameplay. It's a fantastic game. It's very difficult. It gives players a lovely challenge. There's a great mixture of enemies and levels, and then at the end you get screwed over and you have to go back and redo the whole game. Fantastic game, and I would love to see them do a dedicated cabinet for that. What other games could you put on there? Well, there's a multitude of Capcom games that you could do. If you're talking about side scrollers, yes, you could have Strider would be an awesome game to add in alongside it. You could put other games in sort of the Loop Master, but then you've got the aspect ratio, which isn't really going to work. I would prefer them to stick to titles that are going to match the same aspect ratio. They're going to be in that that 4:3 that 4:3 ratio, rather than trying to squeeze things or stretch things to fit a screen that it wasn't really designed to run on. Number 1 on my list has to be Bubble Bobble. I would love to see that as as an arcade cabinet. Now I know that would be quite difficult in regards to Arcade 1-Up, because Taito seem to have a relationship with AtGames at the moment. They've been releasing a lot of their games for the pinball. There's pinball conversion of their games on their ecosystem, so I don't think that's probably going to happen anytime soon, but I just think that an arcade accurate version of Bubble Bobble would be fantastic. And there would be a multiple selection of games that you could put on there, because you have Bubble Bobble, you've got Bubble Symphony, Bubble Memories, depending on which way you want to call it. Then you've got Rainbow Islands, which is still a fucking Bubble Bobble game. So there's loads of different games that you could put on there, and if you wanted to, yes, you could make it into a Taito compilation machine, I guess. Like there's loads of different games from Taito that you could put on there. The Legend of Kage, the various other ones that we've seen from them in the past. There's been multiple games that Taito have done, and they've done it really well. But I think Bubble Bobble as the marquee game would just be fantastic. So there we have it. Those are 3 cabinet ideas that I had knocking around in my head. On paper, I think they would work, especially for someone like myself, someone who has the nostalgia for those games. Obviously, everyone's nostalgia is going to be different. Everyone is going to have different wants when it comes to cabinets that they would like to see. Bubble Bobble for me is just, it is up there. I would certainly love to get my hands on that game. I think it's probably the one that's the least doable, just because of the Taito license and it being tied up with AtGames and things like that. So it's probably something that we probably won't see. But the other 2, I think, you can't go wrong with a Konami shooter. Yeah, like the side scroller. And Capcom, we know that the Capcom machines sell. Let's just get a bit of a variation from the norm. Let's get away from just seeing the normal Street Fighter. Let's see something geared to something else to take the marquee title. Anyway, what do you guys think? Is this something that you'd like to see? Have you got other ideas? If you do, please leave them in the comment, because I would love to see what you've got out there. Anyway guys, thanks very much for joining me, and I will see you again very soon. Bye for now.